Greetings to the parents, teachers, and students of Forney, Texas. I'm pleased to join you in celebrating the dedication of the Don R. Willett Elementary School. Your school bears the name of an outstanding citizen with strong attachments to your community. Judge Don Willett grew up in the nearby town of Tulty when it was a community of only about 32 people. He journeyed by school bus to Forney when it was just a fraction of its present size. Judge Willett has not forgotten his roots in Kaufman County, and I can understand why he warmly recalls the lessons he learned there. Judge Willett's education in Forney was his first step toward college, law school, and a distinguished career in public service. Throughout his life, Judge Willett has been deeply committed to the rule of law and the cause of justice. But he also recognizes that our system of government depends not only on those in full-time public service, but on the whole community's commitment to civic education and civic participation. As Judge Willett says, the Republic belongs to all of us. American citizenship is not a spectator sport, and each generation must take its turn not as spectators, but as engaged, sleeves-rolled-up citizens. It is a fine honor to Judge Willett that the students of Forney begin their own personal journey of education, accomplishment, and good citizenship at a school that bears his name. Congratulations to Judge Willett, and Godspeed to all helping to launch this new Center for Learning.
Judge Willett is an incredible boss, someone who really cares about the people he works with. When you work for Judge Willett, it's almost like you're part of his family. Like, he invites you into his family, and he invites his family into chambers, and so you know what's going on with them, they know what's going on with you. He is involved in his clerks' lives. He cares about their kids and their spouses and what they like to do.
We ended up pledging in a local fraternity known as the Baylor University Chamber of Commerce. It was a men's service organization at that time, and so we ended up pledging together in fall of 1986. When I think of Don, I think that this is an individual that really has gone through life trying to figure out how he can serve the institutions that he's a part of. Whether that's attending high school in Forney, Texas, as a member of the Baylor Chamber of Commerce at Baylor University, a member of the Texas Supreme Court, or now as he's serving on the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals. So Don has always taken a look at the institutions that he's a part of, and then has really sought out ways that he can selflessly serve those organizations.
Well, I had Donnie Willett in the 4th grade. In my classroom, it was self-contained, and he was a joy. He was an absolute neatest guy. Anything I asked him to do, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. And he had all the characteristics that it takes to deal with the situations in his job now. He has those from the very beginning, and always just great with people, and I just loved having him in class.
I think one of the skills he had was he was a people person and enjoyed talking to people and being with people at all levels, not just the important person or the unimportant person or the church person or political person, but people. And Donnie was very self-confident, and he knew what he could do, but he also did not impress that upon people and make that a calling card of his. He was pretty modest for somebody who had as much ability as he did, and I hope that the students who follow and go through that school, and especially the upper level students, and all of them will keep that in mind.
When the first thing that comes to mind clearly is what a devoted and hands-on father he is to his 3 children. He loves his kids, talks about his kids. He used to tweet about his kids before he got his current job. And he's a devoted, very loving husband. So he's a family man. That permeates, I think, everything about Don. But he's also an excellent judge, very measured, very thoughtful, very eloquent writer. And so it's not, he does such a good job at prioritizing his family, but also his job.
I would say to the kids very proudly, see that name up there over the door? He's a good guy. He's an inspiration. He has he's been a great lawyer, a great judge, a great servant of the justice system, and you should be proud that you go to school here. Tell the teachers, you should be proud that you can teach under a name that has given so much to his community, to Forney, to the state, to the country.
Well, Judge Willett is one of those folks who's just, larger than life. And every single person that meets him has an incredible interaction and a story to tell. Funny story, I tell folks that I gave bull riding a try because I wanted to prove that I could have Texas bona fides, but I really just wanted to impress Judge Willett.
He's an amazing judge and, more importantly, an amazing man. I have 3 small kids, which is not a common thing to have when you're doing a job like clerking for a federal judge. And from the minute I started with him, he made sure my kids were welcome in his office and my office, and he actually gave me the biggest office out of all the clerks. He gets 4 every year, just so that my kids would feel welcome and have space if I had to keep them with me, and he just assumed that from the beginning. And so there was just this understanding that it wasn't just about me working really hard for him, but he accepted my whole family.
He was a great boss, and that's why I kept following him around as long as he would hire me. But when I worked for him as a judge, he had never been a judge before, and so our first day on the job, the chief brought in about 10 cases that were tied up at 4 to 4 and said, "You're going to make 4 people mad in every case." But he did it in such a way that he was kind, he was courteous, and he earned their respect in the first couple of weeks on the job. I'm thrilled that there's a school in this community that will help do the same thing that bears his name on it that students walk through every day.
Don and I met at a Christmas party in 1996, and we were at my friend Ellen Williams' house, and we met over the chocolate fondue pot, which is foreshadowing to our life and his love of chocolate. And even now, every Valentine's Day, we as a family, or just he and I, have chocolate fondue to celebrate and just remember how we started. He is a man who is committed to his faith, and through that commitment, there is a legacy of just kindness, thoughtfulness, treating each person similar to how Christ commanded. He really lives by the commandment to love his neighbors. And in these contentious times, Don is not someone who is ever ugly or unkind, but in fact actively seeks to reach out to a wide variety of people, to be kind and loving and to listen and to hear different perspectives. And that I think that's a really great thing for the kids at Willett Elementary to do as well.
Well, I'm very kind of proud of him because I feel like he worked so hard, for his family, for his community, and it kind of makes me happy that he's getting honored in this way, and makes me very just proud of him and of his success and how he still manages to be very kind of down to earth and humble while being very successful.
He's very into Pac-Man and Galaga. There's one of those machines down at the Mighty Fine, and he'll never come back to get his food because he's halfway to the high score. And he seems to have an inexhaustible lineup of terrible, terrible jokes that he never seems to run out of, but somehow I've heard all of them.
I emphasized this earlier, just like how much he cares about the people that he really enjoys. Like he's on important phone calls and has to go travel a bunch, but he always like takes time to like call back or call the people. Even if he misses a call, he's always going to call back and say, hey, I'm sorry I missed a call, what do you need? He's always going to be that type of person that's never going to leave someone opened because he feels like he's better than them. He's always going to try to, because we know where he grew up. He grew up in Forney, and now he's where he's at, but that doesn't mean like his roots of Forney is gone.
I think anybody who knows me knows what a consequential, mighty force in my life my mom was. My mom and my dad never finished high school. And my father passed away when I was really young. I was 6 years old when my dad died. And my mom did what a lot of heroic moms do. She hunkered down and she worked her heart out to support my older sister and me. And my mom was a waitress at the local truck stop along the interstate. And my mom was never really able to help me a lot with academic stuff, but she really had a PhD herself in grit and sacrifice and hard work. And she really embodied those uncommon virtues. So when people ask me about inspirations or those who I want to kind of model my life after or emulate, but really my mom, she certainly is the all caps hero in my life. I want them to live lives of rich meaning and consequence that do ripple across generations. And these students are all at the starting line now, but one far off day when they're near the finish line, I want them to look back and I want them to take a lot of pride in a life well lived, to leave a legacy that is rich, a legacy of kindness and of significance. And I want the reputation they've earned and the legacy they've earned to be unimaginably rich. Albert Schweitzer said, I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I know, the only ones among you who will be really happy are those who have sought and found how to serve.